It's Mrs. Lawson. It's so good to see you today. Yesterday, my son and my husband and I tapped a couple of maple trees, and already the sap is drip, drip, dripping into the buckets. I thought we would start off our language lesson today by reviewing a little bit of alphabetical order. I want us to look at the words bucket, sap, tree, and drip. Which one of those words would come first in alphabetical order? Which one did you guess? Did you say bucket? It starts with a B, so that one would come first. Which one would be next? That's right, it's drip. Drip starts with a D, and that comes next in the alphabet. Sap or tree? Which would come next? That's right, S comes before T, so sap would be the next word in alphabetical order. And then our last one is tree. I want to think about the word dripping for a minute. I was pretty excited this morning when I came outside and found sap dripping into the bucket. The word dripping has two special sounds. Do you know what special sounds are in the word dripping? That's right. The first one is dr or dr, and the next one is ing, like in the word pointing. Let's take a look at some of our charts and our special sounds today. This special sound is one of three sounds that are all spelled the same way but sound differently. This one is ed, as in wanted. Let's read the words together. Ed in wanted. Landed, shouted, tested, dusted, waited, pointed. This special sound says t in looked. Let's read it together. T in looked. Cooked, packed, talked, mashed, jumped, splashed. This special sound says d in played. Let's say them together. D in played. Called, filled, nailed, prayed, yelled, smelled. Let's review our next phonics chart. Say it with me. Ing in pointing, n in not, n in gnat, ang in bang, ing in king, ong in long, ung in strong, ank in bank, ink in wink, onk in honk, unk in trunk, wa in wash, in adopt, e in baby, l in little, ed in wanted, t in looked, d in played. The ed in all three of those sounds sound differently. Let's go over them again. Ed in wanted, t in looked, d in played. Class, do you remember what we need in order to have a good sentence? I want you to stand up and do the actions with me. We need a capital letter, spaces between our words, an end mark, and it needs to make sense. We've also added that in order to make sense, our sentence needs to have a subject and a verb. A verb is an action word. It shows that something is happening. So I want us to look at this sentence. The maple sap is dripping into the bucket. What's the action word in that sentence? What's happening? Did you say it's dripping? That's right. Dripping is the action word. That means it's the verb. I would like for you to make sure you're standing up, and I am going to ask you to do some action words with me right now. Standing is an action word. Are you standing? The next thing I want you to do is some jogging. Jogging is an action word. That means it's a verb. What about some stretching? Stretching is an action word, so that's a verb. I want you to try doing some verbs today, some action words. Hi class, it's Mrs. Lawson. Today in our language study, we're going to take a look at some more verbs. Do you remember what a verb is? It's an action word. It's something that you can do. Let's take a look and see which of these words are action words and which one isn't. The very first one is stretch. So I'd like for you to stand up and stretch. Oh, yeah. Is stretch something that you can do? It is. It's a verb. The next one is walk. Can you walk? Is that something that you can do? It is. That means walk is a verb. What about tree? Can you tree? No. Tree is not a verb. It's a noun. Our next word is drip. Is drip something that can happen or can be done? It is. I have maple sap dripping into a bucket at home. Drip is an action word. What about the word listen? Is listen a verb? Is that something that you can do? It is. I hope that you are listening to your mom and dad at home this week. And our last word on the board is the word play. Is play something that you can do? Of course it is. It's a verb. I hope that you get to play outside today, that you get to run around your yard and have fun. Today you're completing pages 126. On page 126, you're going to read the story and answer the questions. I'm here in the school library to remind you once again to spend some time reading today. If you have a brother or sister, I would like for you to try to sit down with them and read to them. Find a great book and get reading.